Good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. I'm Gregory Morgan. And so this show called Love Talk is really about having a dialogue about what is love? What is it that drives us and makes us be the people that we are? Why is it that our relationships, which are the most vital and important part of our lives, often go badly? And in fact, sometimes they're a complete disaster and people do the awfulest things to each other. So what's that all about? If love is so important to us, if love is who we are, if love is what we seek more than anything in the world, why is it that it's going so badly? If everybody's seeking the same thing. We felt that it was necessary, my wife and I felt that it was necessary to create a format in which we could share some of the parts of our own growth and development. Everything that we discuss at Embrace Growth is something that we have experienced ourselves. All of them come from our personal experience. So whatever I share with you here is from my own experience, having lived here for over 60 years and been through a number of disastrous relationships, finding the most fulfilling, loving, delicious, wonderful relationship I ever imagined I could have. And once having discovered that, I realized that it was not until my own growth, not until my own development, not until my own interior maturity had come about that I would even be able to recognize many times love has been right in front of me. And I think that if that's true for me, it must be true for you as well, that we are always presented with love and that we choose out of fear something else. In fact, it could be said, and it has been, I've said it and many others have, that there are really only two emotions and that they're at opposite ends of the spectrum. On the one hand, there's love and all of its many expressions. And on the other hand, there's fear. And that everything that you experience that you call an emotion, and if you were to Google a list of the emotions and see all of the various names that humanity has given all the various emotions that we experience, they will all be a variation of one or the other. It'll either be an expression of love or it'll be an expression of a fearful attempt to get love. Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air.
You were speaking about emotions, and I have a struggle in my relationship. And I'm with a guy almost over a year and a month. We are in a committed relationship, but as a boyfriend-girlfriend, and well, I believe that he loves me and respects me all the time and care about me.
Okay.
But the case is that because of his job situation, he has to travel. Because of bad experiences I had in my past relationship, someone cheated on me, I felt some sort of I have to be a bit careful and sometimes check something, which I know that is not the right way to do that.
Well, let me just catch you right there. I think that you ought to check whatever you think you ought to check. And here's where particularly women get into big trouble. They begin to love a man more than they love themselves, and they begin to listen to the man's terms for the relationship, which may be something like, don't check my phone, don't call me and ask me questions about where I'm at and what I'm doing. That may be the man's terms, and that may be very much what he wants. However, if you honor that more than you honor your own intuition, your own self, your own inner knowing, and we'll get back to that part in just a moment because that's really what the show's about today. The difference between fear, suspicion, and inner knowing. Now, on the other side of that, there's arrogance and hope and unrealistic belief. You need to learn to trust your own inner voice. I think you should check up on anything you want to check up on.
You believe that I have the right to check everything?
Yeah, well, I mean, beyond, hacking his emails and doing weird stuff like a stalker or something. Yeah, I mean, don't be weird, but I mean, yeah.
Okay, because actually I never asked him to show me his...
I would ask permission.
Laws.
Yeah, ask permission. When you're married, you don't ask permission anymore, but when you're boyfriend, girlfriend, you better ask permission. You're not his wife.
Yes.
You're not his wife. You're his girlfriend.
Yes. I am.
And has he said, I will only be with you and no other woman? Has he said those words?
Yes, of course.
You both have this as a verbal agreement?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, I just need to know that. A lot of times people assume that monogamy is the game we're playing, but only one person assumes it and the other one doesn't. I just want to make sure you're both playing, on the same playing field. So you have a monogamous, committed relationship.
Thanks. We are talking about future because I'm in the stage to make decision and he thinks he's not ready. But my case is that I sometimes try to check his phone when he was away after traveling back home. I just tried to check his phone without his permission, but I didn't do that when he was around. So
let me tell you how to do that. Let me coach you a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, people don't know, when love is there, real authentic love is actually there. It's not fantasy or it's not some kind of manipulation or something like that, but two people authentically have real feelings of recognition and awakening and mutual support, and they're willing to make certain sacrifices for each other's happiness and well-being so that something larger than your personal life, larger than his personal life, something that you could call we or us, begins to grow, okay? So the relationship itself begins to take on a life of its own, and you are true to that and loyal to that. When that happens, most people don't know how to act. We don't know how to act. We don't know how to talk to each other. We fall back into manipulative types of things because that's what you learned from your parents and your school friends and your religion, and everybody else that's ever been around you has taught you how to get what you want is to either be demanding or clever or funny or seductive or manipulative or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the things that you know. Those are the tools that you have in your toolbox, so to speak. All right? So let me give you some other tools. And I will call this just simply authentic communication, okay? Simply telling the truth and being authentic. So it might go something like this between you and your boyfriend. I've been feeling insecure when you travel, and I trust you, and I love you, and you mean the world to me, and I know that you are an honorable man. However, help me manage myself because I have suspicions. I know they're based in the past when somebody was dishonorable with me. Now, I know that you're not that guy, or I wouldn't be with you. I'm with you because I trust you and I love you. However, help me out here. I need to be reassured. I need to know that you and me are monogamous even when you're away. And I'm willing to show you anything that you want to see to prove that. And I'm asking you, would you be willing for me to get some proof as well? Something like that. Are you following not necessarily word for word what I'm saying, but the general feeling of what I'm doing here?
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to check your phone.
Okay.
That would reassure me. If I could see that on your phone there was no suspicious calls or anything like that, I'd feel better. And I kind of need that. Do you mind? Will you grant me that wish? Now, he may say no. He may get upset. He may say, how dare you not trust me? And you need to stay in your authentic heart and say, look, I'm asking you to help me stay in this trusting feeling because somehow I get suspicious. And I don't want to be like that. Then it influences how I act around you. And I respect you too much to go behind your back and do it without your permission. So I'm asking your permission. Now, in doing this, I want you to notice that I did a few things. I said a few things. I trust you. You're an honorable man. I love you. I'm with you because I love you. My suspicions are mine. You're taking responsibility for your own suspicions. My suspicions are my own. They're based on my past where somebody was dishonorable with me, not because you have been. Do you see what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I understand.
You're supporting his ego because his ego could get offended. An honorable man, when somebody acts with suspicious towards an honorable men have egos and they go, what the heck? How dare you? They get offended when their honor is put into question. So I'm saying honor him, respect him, and ask permission. Now you're allowing him to be who he is. You're giving him the authority to say yes or no. And then you're willing to deal with the consequences of having been authentic, having been real. The alternative is sneak behind his back, check his phone, find out whatever you find out, never really know the truth, and then have that suspicion and that lie and that mistrustful behavior be a part of your relationship from now on. That's the alternative. So I would choose the high road personally. That's what I would coach you to do. Choose the high road. Always be honest and tell the truth. This is what I'm suspecting. I'm very uncomfortable. I love you. Help me out here. Give me permission to check your phone. That's the way I'm going to feel better. And then if you do find something suspicious on his phone, say, what's that? Please explain.
I was checking his phone when he was not around. And I never saw any suspicious things.
Okay.
But the last time he traveled, I tried to make sure to check his luggage, what he packed, right? I noticed that he just got, because he has in toiletry bag some stuff that men use for having sex, he always put these things there and he took with himself. So I thought maybe he just forgot to take them out, right? Because he was traveling without me. And when he came back, I noticed that there are some changes happened in the bag.
Like what?
Some personal stuff men use for sex, for protection.
Yes, I know, but why? They were gone, or there were new ones there, or what?
I counted the numbers, then I figured out that there are two missed. And I asked him, did you meet someone? And he said no. And I asked him, did you have sex with someone? And he said no. And then I said to him honestly that, you know what, I counted the numbers and there are two missing, where they are. And he just got nervous a lot, and then suddenly he said, yeah, I moved this one from the luggage, from toiletry bag to my carrier bag, the one that is smaller. And I was a bit suspicious why he had to do that, and he said, because sometimes luggages has delays, so I wanted to make sure that I don't lose anything when if I get my luggage with delay.
That's a very suspicious answer, isn't it?
Yeah, he said, because I was on the way back to you, I wanted to take these things. Mm-hmm. It's not a reason, because for me, we have enough here. You don't have to do that,
Exactly.
And, yeah.
So where are they now?
He just tried to show me that they were on the other bag. He moved them around. And I didn't find any justification why he did that, why he moved.
Were they in the other bag?
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were.
Okay, so what he told you turned out to be true in fact.
Yeah, but it turned another question in my mind. Why he moved things around? Because not to scare not to lose them on time.
Yeah, I realized both the answer is suspicious, and the fact that he did this, that, or the other is also somewhat questionable. But when he told you something and then he produced the facts, the physical fact that what he said was true, that's when you need to start relating to reality, not to your mind reading. See, in neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis, okay, two of the areas in which I'm an expert, there is a category of thinking that is called mind read. Women are particularly prone to read minds. Now, that doesn't mean that what they read is actual or factual, but they relate to it as if it is. Isn't it true that you sometimes relate to your intuition, your gut feeling, as if it was the facts?
Yeah, I understand that, but the case is that I later checked his phone again, and in his Skype history, I found a girl exactly the same city he traveled, and he's supposed to meet.
Okay.
For some reason, she said, she wrote in the Skype messages, my feet was broken, and maybe I cannot walk that much. And that was the last message that I saw in the history. And I'm not sure if they had another contact or via another channel they contacted each other, but I have no idea what. But the messages doesn't look very, something suspicious, but he ignores the fact that he met someone or he meets someone at least.
Well, then you need to ask him who the person is with the broken foot and why was she telling you about it, and she was in the city that you were in, so her message indicates that you two were going to meet up, but somehow she couldn't meet up because she had an injured foot. Who is that, and why were you meeting, and what's that about? And you need to satisfy my curiosity here, because I'm giving you my whole heart and soul and body. I am a 100% committed to this relationship. I don't have anybody else in my life, and I'm not interested in having anybody else in my life. But this message and that thing with the prophylactics and everything, that is very suspicious behavior, and I need to have my curiosity satisfied. And until I have it satisfied, I'm going to keep asking you questions, and I need to hear. I'll know when I hear the truth. You know when you hear the truth, right? I know when I hear the truth.
Actually,
I know when I hear the truth, and I know when I hear a lie, and I bet you do too.
asked him, who is that girl? And he was a bit shocked, and he looked at me, are you monitoring me? And I,
Yep, I am.
not really, but I want to know who is that girl. And he said, I just met her somewhere in Dublin before. Asked him, is she from the country you travel to? Because he was traveling to South America. And he said, no, I didn't. I don't know where she's from exactly. And then he said, I don't know. If I didn't meet her, no, not at all. And he was very nervous, but he just said there was nothing between us. And
I believe that you have a right to know the answer and to ask the questions, okay? I don't necessarily believe that you have a right, you can do it if you want to search through his things and do that type of investigation without permission. That is an invasion of privacy. Now, you know, here's why in the 12 stages of romantic relationship and all of the books and stuff that we talk about relationships, we don't have anything, I don't, and neither does my wife, about anything about premarital sex. Have all you want, I don't care. But when you start living with somebody like a husband and a wife, but you're not a husband and wife, you assume certain things. You assume that you have certain rights, which you don't. Only marriage gives you those rights. Marriage is a lifelong commitment made in front of witnesses and somebody that you consider to be sacred or at least official, who witnesses and signs papers saying, I will be monogamous with you, and for the rest of my life, I will share my money, my time, my sex, my energy, my property with you and you only. That's what a marriage contract is. A marriage contract is a piece of business. It's business. It's signing business contracts. That's what it is. Okay? I mean, as far as that part of it's concerned. As far as the sacred and the spiritual and emotional part of it is concerned, yes, you could have those feelings, but you do not have that commitment from him. So you're not his wife, okay? And women tend to see themselves as either married or unmarried. Men just see themselves as men. And sometimes they're either going to be honorable about the promises and commitments they've made, or they're not. And if they made a promise to be monogamous with you, then he's either going to keep that or he's not. And I can tell you from my own experience that when men are out alone traveling and single women are out alone traveling, they flirt with men that are out alone traveling. You know that. Everybody knows that.
But actually, it's only the first and the last always, during the whole last year I monitored. And actually, based on our relationship, I never got the feeling that he wants to flirt with the others or wants not to be with me or not caring about me. That's why I'm a bit confused, because
a man can love you to death and still have a woman who's willing to, who is pursuing him and focusing sexual, emotional energy on him, depending on the man, be pulled into an intrigue. Maybe he doesn't cross the line and, go over there and start touching and exchanging bodily fluids, but he might think about it. Okay, he might think about it. He may not actually go do it, but he may think about it. Now, I'm not saying your guy did that or didn't do that, but it sounds like somebody else is buzzing around his space, making contact with him. See, I won't have anything to do with anybody that says or acts any way with me that is inappropriate for a single woman to act with me who is a married man. If that's inappropriate, I'm a married man. Don't act like that around me, right?
Right.
Yeah, don't disrespect my wife and don't disrespect my sacred vow by being flirtatious in a sexual way. Everybody flirts all the time. I flirt, my wife flirts, people flirt with us because we love each other and it's innocent. You understand? There's an innocent kind of flirtation that everybody's always doing anyhow. I think that's great and I think it's healthy. Makes you feel young, makes you feel happy. When somebody appreciates how you look or how you dress or says something nice to you, that doesn't mean anything, right? That just makes you feel good, right? Don't you have men compliment you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of flirt with you a little bit. It's harmless. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you're going to go jump in bed with them. It's like, thank you very much. That's really sweet. I feel good. So, there's nothing wrong with harmless flirtation. Now, oh, that's really sweet. Give me your phone number, I'll call you. That's a little different. That's kind of crossing a certain social boundary, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then why don't we wait until I'm out of town and away from my wife or my mate and we'll get together? That's really crossing a boundary now. And then why don't I hide the fact that I even know you from my wife? You see how those boundaries get to break down further and further and further until, the next thing you know is, honey, I had an accident. I slipped and fell in a... That's how guys are. It's like, oh, I made a mistake, like it was an accident or something.
But he doesn't want to admit that there was something. That's the problem. And I haven't asked him because still he now is again traveling. I'm waiting he got back. And I think, can I see just your phone with respect, just see to make sure there is nothing. But the case is that I don't know how to communicate in a way that not to pull him away and not destroy my relationship, because I like to keep this relationship.
Yeah, I gave you a clue. I hope that you got something from what I said.
Yeah, I got something, but in case...
I call it, and my mentor, Pat Allen, called it the stand and stroke technique. You take a stand for something. I'm standing for honesty, integrity, and openness, and truth, and monogamy in my relationship. That's where I'm standing. Do you understand? I'm standing for that. Does that make sense to you? So you stand for something, and then the stroke part is, I trust you, I love you, I know you're an honorable man. That's stroking, right? Making nice. And I need to know an answer from you. I'm standing for something.
Right.
And I want you to stand here with me. And I have some questions. And based on the stand that I take, based on my honesty, my integrity, based on my honor, based on what I'm standing for, I have the right to ask you this question. I have the right to get an honest answer. Don't dishonor our relationship by giving me anything other than a truthful answer. I'm willing to forgive things. I'm willing to overlook things, but I'm not willing to tolerate dishonesty and betrayal and all that. I will not put up with that. So tell me the truth. Who is this? Why did she write to you? What's the deal with the prophylactics? And I need to feel satisfied, and I'll know if you're telling the truth. You need to take that kind of a stand in your relationship, and why aren't you? Do you understand? Because you haven't had the communication skills. I hope that I'm teaching them to you now. That's my intention. You need to have a place to stand that is clear and concise. And when you compromise your integrity by doing sneaky little things and manipulative things, now you have no place to stand, you see. Now you're hiding something. Now you're being dishonest. Do you see? You can only demand integrity when you have integrity. You can't demand others to have something you don't have.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So don't be manipulative. Don't be hiding or sneaking around. Just tell the truth. Say, hey, I checked your phone and I looked in your luggage. Too bad. I'm sorry if you don't like it. I shouldn't have done it. I got it. From now on, I will ask your permission. But here's the thing. I saw some things. They made me suspicious, and I want there to be only honor and integrity and truth in our relationship. I need it. I can't go forward and open my heart, open my body, open my whole life, my finances, my family, my future, possible children that we might have. I can't do that unless we're starting off from a place of really clean, honest truthfulness. Do you see any other way, other than what I've just said, of having a successful relationship? I'm telling you, every relationship that starts off with a bunch of lies and manipulation ends up with a bunch of lies and manipulation magnified 1,000 times until everything explodes. Meantime, the people's health goes bad, their finances go bad, their families and everything else go bad. Then they have kids and they go bad. And society degenerates to the lowest common denominator, which is, let me manipulate you to get what I want, and you manipulate me to get what you want, and let's all lie about it and pretend we're not doing that. That's terrible, but yet that's the condition that we're in, isn't it? For the most part, and then you meet somebody and you have some feelings for them, you say, oh, let's have a relationship for the rest of our life, and maybe have kids and own property and businesses and all kinds of stuff together, but it's all starting off with a lie in the first place. Don't do that. Demand integrity.
Yeah, actually, I checked his integrity in other cases, and I never found anything that I had a problem with, because he was completely integrated in the talk and his action.
Good.
only the case I figure out, which I'm not sure even he met her or not,
Yeah.
somehow for me suspicious. That's why I want to know. But
And it may be nothing, and it may be something. And if it's, he may have thought about it. He may have had somebody flirt with him, and he may have started to do something, and it didn't happen, or whatever. But you need to get that cleared up.
Yeah.
You need to get it cleared up so that you can move forward. Otherwise, you and he will bury this, and there will always be some kind of suspicion. And here's what I've noticed about suspicions. They don't get smaller, they get bigger.
they get bigger, exactly.
That's right.
And it took about for me 2 months, and it still is getting bigger. And
Yeah.
now I'm not sure how to deal with that after if
Yeah.
he admit to that there was something or supposed to be something but never happened. I don't know how to move forward.
Okay, well, what if he said, okay, let's rehearse that one for a minute. What if he said, you know what, honey, I'm busted. You caught me. I met a girl. I thought she was whatever. We texted each other back and forth. We were going to meet up, but then we didn't. What if he says that? So what? Then what? It's not the end of the world, you know. Are you going to stop loving him?
Well, I don't like to be in an untrustable relationship, really.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so being trusting doesn't mean that people don't make mistakes, that people don't somehow get out of integrity with themselves sometimes. You know, the only real out of integrity is out of integrity with yourself. That's what I teach people. Your agreements, your commitments in life, yours and his, we think that they're to other people, but they're to yourself, really. I have a commitment to myself to have love in my life, to be a loving human being and to be loved by others. That's my real commitment. Now, I say I'm committed to my wife, I'm committed to my marriage, I'm committed to being honest, I'm committed to having integrity. Those are just the reflections, if you will, the outer manifestations of my inner commitment to be loved and to be lovable and to love others. That's an inner commitment that's invisible. You can't see it. But when you look at me on the outside world, you see, oh, I have love in my life and I have this, that, and the other, and I have a commitment to love. And it is manifest in the world by various things, you see. And if you have a commitment to honor and integrity and being loved and lovable and to loving others, then you must have a commitment to accepting others the way they are and the way that they are not. Because no person is perfect. All people, every person will fail you sooner or later. Human beings will fail you. If you're committed to a human being, you're in trouble. You better be committed to love and relationships and spiritual awakening and all of that, because those things will hold you together and give your life meaning and purpose when the people in your life who you love fail you, because they will. I've never met somebody that didn't disappoint me. Have you? Tell the truth. Everybody disappoints you sooner or later. Doesn't mean you don't love them. If you had children, do you have children?
no.
No. Can you imagine having a child?
Well, some maybe.
To a certain extent, you can. If you had a child, do you think he or she might disappoint you sooner or later?
Yeah, of course.
And you think they might even say horrible things like, I hate you. All children end up saying that to their parents sooner or later, right?
Right.
Not all children, but most. They storm out of the house or they go slam the door or they do something like that, right? Sooner or later, kids do that. You don't stop loving them. If you're a woman and you love a man, he will disappoint you sooner or later. And you will be called upon to look and see what's more important, your love or making him wrong for not living up to your expectations. They're your expectations, and you have a right to have expectations, but just notice that there's a vast difference between expectations and love. Love is like a flower. It's like the fruit of something that has roots in the ground and grows up and gives fruit or flowers. It's the beautiful expression of something. Expectations is like weed killer. It's like poison. Like spray some weed killer on your roses and see what happens. That's like having expectations about love. Expectations are to love what weed killer is to roses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have a right to expect him to be honest, but he may not be. Will you stop loving him? Or will you allow your love to grow, become so pure and powerful and true that it penetrates his heart and has him ask for forgiveness and never want to ever do anything like that again? So it has a transformative effect on his life. Not the needy kind of love that's like, oh, you hurt me, but the kind of love that says, look, I love you and I won't tolerate this kind of behavior with you. And I have a right to expect you to be honest and truthful with me. And if you're not going to be monogamous with me, if you're going to go out and mess around while you're traveling, then just tell me now, because I want to give my love to somebody that's going to give it back to me the same way. Don't waste my time. And see what he says about it. Do you know what I mean? Now, I know that this is a large conversation, and you may have gotten more information than you originally asked for. Like, how do I talk to him? But the lesson here for you is, if this is happening in your life, if this is happening in your relationship, then what can you learn from it? And the whole point, even the title of my company, Embrace Growth, is about embracing those things that most people want to run away from, eliminate, numb out, take some medicine for, get drunk or something. Embracing those things and bringing them closer and asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I become stronger, more sophisticated, more powerful, more insightful, more loving, more compassionate, more spiritually evolved, so that this little incident is nothing? That's what Embrace Growth is about, and that's what I will always be pointing in the direction of in every conversation, is how can you grow so that whatever's confronting you is nothing, is so small that you're actually grateful that it happened, so that you could grow and become the person that you are today. Now, it may sound like a big stretch for a lot of you. You know, we have this saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I live by that, and I recommend that you do too. Now, that doesn't mean that you tolerate and put up with and take poison because people want to give it to you. No, you have to stand your ground, and you have to know what you stand for and what your life is about. And then when conflicts, painful situations, lies, hurtful things, people try to hurt you, or maybe they're not even trying, they just do it anyhow. When those things come up in your life, you use them and the energy from them not to fall into depression or confusion or doubt, withdraw and become smaller, but to grow, to actually use those things to become a more refined and sophisticated human being. It is possible to become so self-aware and conscious and sophisticated in your thinking and experiencing of things that even the most distasteful things in your life become a source of growth and development for you. That's not the only source of growth and development. I don't want you to think, oh man, you got to go look for disagreeable, horrible things so that you can grow and become more sophisticated. No, the most evolved way of growing and development, growth and development, is through fun, humor, happiness, joy, shared joyful experiences with each other. You want to grow fast? Those are the real ways that humans grow best. How do you think children grow? They grow when they play. They grow when they're experimenting, when they don't even know what's going to happen and they just throw themselves into it. And sometimes they fall down, but that's okay. They get up and they just keep going. They grow fast. That's how come they can learn language so quickly and learn how to walk and run and talk and reason, and all the things that children learn very, 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 very quickly is because they're having fun. They have a good time. People learn more from pleasure than they learn from pain. And there has been a misconception in life that is passed down through religious dogma that, you know, you have to suffer to grow. You have to, no pain, no gain. That's a famous one. Everybody believes that. No pain, no gain. You may have gain and it may involve pain, but it doesn't mean that pain is the only way to grow. That's a misunderstanding. So I suggest that you embrace this situation, that you stand for everything that you believe in, that you communicate straight from the heart, and you listen with your heart, not with your suspicion. You listen really with your true heart. You look him in the eye and you have him look you in the eye. Human beings don't lie very well with their eyes. Just look him in the eye and just say, look, what's going on? Tell me about this. And be willing to forgive, because forgiveness is part of love. Sorry, doesn't feel good sometimes, but that is. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
I hope this helped.
Yeah, I was struggling how to open up this conversation to not damage my relationship, and I know that I didn't do the right thing to behind his back check his phone, but to make sure whom am I with in this year, you know.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes you have to do whatever you got to do to at least start. Having done that, you ended up calling me, and hopefully by calling me, I gave you some way to move forward in a way that won't cause more damage. I hope that that's my greatest desire.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling.
Much.
Let me know how it turns out.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, I see that you've been calling, and thank you for waiting.
Something happened to me, like I got some problem, like health problem, and now I cannot enjoy anything. I can enjoy my time, spending time with my son. I cannot enjoy life. I cannot enjoy anything. Just like I'm thinking all the time about that problem I got.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm going to talk to you off the air and get what your question is, and then we'll be back in just a few moments, and I'll answer your question on the air. How's that?
Problem.
The lady that I was just speaking with apparently has some stomach illnesses that are getting worse, and she's 45 years old, and she was concerned that she could not enjoy her life because she didn't feel good, that it was eventually going to be healed, but it was going to take longer to heal than expected. And she kept referring back to the past, how she used to feel better, that she's only 45 years old and she's too young to have those kinds of illnesses and physical problems. And so what I gathered from the conversation and my response, I think, would be beneficial to others, and that is simply that you cannot live in the past. You don't. You have no access to the past, only through memories and pictures and stuff like that. And it's scientifically known that your memory of the past, what you remember, is in no way an accurate record of what actually happened. So it's woven together by thoughts, feelings, emotions, and images and words. So it's not an accurate record whatsoever, your memory. So memories of the past is not the past itself, and the past you have no access to it. You can't go there and do anything about it. And the future is the same. All of the future that you imagine that you have is exactly that. It's imagined. You don't have a future. You have no idea what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. Really, you have a pretty good guess, and so you're responding to life in a way that you are imagining what might happen, and you're adjusting your mental, physical, and emotional and spiritual beingness to this imagined future. The only thing that really gives you access to personal power is being grounded and centered in the moment right now. And in the moment right now, there will be some things that you like and some things that you don't like, some things that you feel good about and some other things you don't feel good about, some things that you think, some things that you don't even know to think about. In other words, everything that's happening to you is always happening right now. It's always right now. In fact, right now just slipped away and it's gone. So it's constantly now, and it's constantly moving into the past faster than you can even get it out of your mouth. People will always be living by either their commitments, their spoken, designed, and created commitments, or they will be operating out of something that we can call your default commitments. When you get a computer, you have a bunch of programs in there. They're the default programs. Okay? In other words, they're just how the computer comes. Well, human beings come with certain programs. And those programs are not designed to make you happy. Those programs are only to keep you alive. That's all they do. They keep you alive. They make sure you get food, clothing, shelter, oxygen, water, that you eliminate, all the things. Even the desire for love, recognition, belonging are all subconsciously driven by the desire to stay alive. The desire to belong is the desire to not be put out side of the herd or the tribe, if you will, so that you will perish. The desire to belong is the desire to be at the center of where things are happening, where there's food, clothing, shelter, protection, and so forth. So even the desire to belong and to be loved and to be a part of something greater than yourself is a survival instinct. Those are default. And does surviving mean you're happy? No, it just means you survived. You can survive and be very unhappy. You can survive and be very dissatisfied. You can survive and be miserable. Okay, so survival does not in any way guarantee or even indicate that you might be happy or fulfilled or fully realized or enlightened or spiritually fulfilled. It doesn't even mean that surviving doesn't mean that you'll be loved or that you will even experience loving another. My point is that there are basic animal instincts that are survival technology. They're your default commitments. And then there are designed or created commitments that you and I have the ability, because we are human beings, meaning we have the ability to not only be aware of what's going on, like an animal can, but we can become aware of our awareness. We're aware that we're aware. And we can speak and create with our speaking realities that are not like physical, like an iPad or a telephone or, a suit or something. There are realities that you and I can speak of that are beyond the physical world. Love is one of them. Honor, integrity, the truth, God, goodness, evil. All of these things, they don't exist, but we can talk about them and experience them. And we can come to know them, and we actually can have an influence through our actions and our words on realms of beingness that are not physical. Now, why am I telling you all that? Because this woman has an illness in her body, and it is affecting her thinking. It is affecting her ability to enjoy what's happening right now. So here's my question, and in some ways my answer. Is it possible that you could not feel good and still enjoy your life? Is it possible that you could not feel like participating and participate anyhow? Is it possible that you could feel not so good or even bad and yet make a difference for somebody else in their life? Those things that I mentioned are possibilities that exist outside of your feeling. So you will either honor your feeling bad and say, well, I feel bad, therefore I can't make a difference. Therefore, I can't participate. Therefore, I can't have a future that lights me up and turns me on and makes a difference in the world because I don't feel good. Listen, this is what I said to her. It's unimaginable to many people how many times myself and my wife, I can speak for her as well, have not felt like participating. We don't do a workshop because we feel like it. We did a workshop because we said we will be there, and we be there regardless of how we feel. We could have a broken leg and we'll still show up and be there because we said we would, because we are living by our commitments, our created commitments. Therefore, our default commitment, which is I think I better rest and stay home and take care of myself, which would be the natural default mechanism that would come up and say, oh, you can't go do that. You don't feel good. Instead, we choose over and over and over and over again to do what we said we would do rather than what we feel like doing many times. Now, does it happen that we often feel like going and doing it and we do it? Of course, most of the time. But I'm pointing at the times when you don't feel like doing something. You don't feel good. You don't wanna, right? You're either going to honor that, which is fine. It'll give you the life that you've always had. Nothing wrong with that. Just how's it going? Do you enjoy it? Or you can choose to create a vision of your future, a vision and a verbal or written commitment. I will do this no matter what. And then the no matter what includes that I won't feel like it sometimes. It includes that I won't have the money or the time or the patience, or somebody will get in my way, or I'll have a car wreck, or any number of things could happen. But you say, I'm going to do it no matter what. And then you arrange your life to make sure that nobody gets in your way and that you don't have a car wreck, and that whether you feel like it or not, you go anyhow. And what you will learn, what I have learned, is that when I honor my word, when I do what I said I do, when I said I will do it, especially if that doing has to do with making a difference in the world, contributing to other people, making the world a better place, that somehow, call it what you will, the universe, God, destiny, the field of infinite being, all there is, whatever you want to call that, power gives me more than I need to accomplish my mission, gives me more than I need to just survive the moment. I always find that when I say I'm going to do it no matter what, that somehow it's as if the dirt in the street it will rise up to support me and give me whatever I need to make sure that happens. And listen, sometimes I feel like I'm hanging by my fingers, because sometimes you don't know how you're going to do something. And so to the woman who called, who doesn't feel very good and doesn't know how to participate with your family and your son, my final word on this is, please get out of your own feelings, because life is not about you, I hope. And if your life is all about you, and this is for all of us, if your life is about you, then that is not a life that's worth living. Because as important as you may be, your life is like a speck in the universe. And if your life is about being a part of something so large and so vast that it actually will take your life and use it, then that's a life worth living. Something that will move through you, speak through you, take its action and manifest life through you. That's a life worth living. I'll sign up for that life. But as long as my life, speaking personally of myself, as long as my life was all about me and what I want, what I need, what I desired, what was going to make me feel good or be important or make me be successful, as long as my life was about that, I was alone. Because not very many people were all that interested in how I felt. They were interested in what they could get from me. They were interested in what was I going to do for them. And so when my life became, okay, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about them. It's about the world. It's about people that I'll never meet. If I can bring even just a little bit of light into your life or the lives of the people that you may meet, even though I never will, then that's a life worth living. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for watching. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share with you. I hope this has made a difference for you in your life. You've been watching Love Talk. I'm Gregory Morgan. Please check out embracegrowth.com to find out about our books, CDs, DVDs, and most importantly, about the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshops and the Women-Only workshops. They are life-changing events. Many love and blessings. See you back here again next week on Love Talk.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان خود واقعیتان و همچنین مردان را بشناسید و با استفاده از قدرت زنانه خود روابطی سالم و عاشقانه بسازید. همبورگ 28 فوریه تا اول مارچ، لس آنجلس 17 تا 19 آپریل، تورنتو 26 تا 28 جون و ایروان ارمنستان 6 تا 8 آگوست برگزار خواهد شد. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com.
Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Rosita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 مارچ، تورنتو 16 تا 18 اکتبر و ایروان ارمنستان 5 تا 7 نوامبر. برای اطلاعات بیشتر با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروث با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروث را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی امبریس گروث بپیوندید.